It's coming up to 5 to 7. A very good morning to you. It's breakfast on BBC Radio Kent with John and Steve. Now, BBC Radio Kent has learned that Kent County Council is reviewing its code of conduct, including for councillors, as allegations of sexual harassment continue in Westminster. The review started before the harassment allegations against MPs were made, and Kent County Council say complaints about member misconduct are rare and there are none currently outstanding. Labour County Councillor Constantine says that what's happening in Parliament needs to act as a wake-up call for Kent County Council and other organisation. And she joins us now. Karen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do you mean by a wake-up call? Do you think there is, things happening at Kent County Council that need to be addressed?
I'm worried about this situation because the information that's coming out of Westminster is really concerning. If you look at organisations like the TUC, they're reporting that 50% of women are experiencing sexual harassment at work. So clearly we need to be on guard about this situation in all organisations, and that would include my own county council.
Well, they say they are reviewing their procedures, and they said they started that before these allegations came to light. So they seem to be on the ball.
I think that's great. I mean, that's a big pat on the back, isn't it, for getting that done. I think what we need to do is we need to look at where there is the best practice and we need to put that into place. So, for instance, things like confidential helplines that you can call in are really important. I mean, I think one thing that is a key to remember is it can be very, very difficult to report this sort of thing. And often women are very easily deterred, especially if they're, I'm not going to say more vulnerable, but let's say if they're in a temporary workplace situation, let's say if they are perhaps in a power relationship, so it's their direct line manager. So we need to be careful that we don't put a solution into place that actually doesn't really address the problem.
Would you like to see the council
really robust?
Would you like to see them be more proactive in what I mean by that is they could actually, I suppose, send a memo around to all staff saying, look, if you feel that you've been harassed in this way, you need to come forward and this is the procedure, and be that proactive about it. Actually ask people if they have any issues.
I think that's a good idea, actually. I think I like the idea of a confidential helpline. I like the idea of identifying trusted friends where women can go to somebody to talk through the situation so they can perhaps deal with it themselves without necessarily escalating it. I think the idea of a memo is a really nice idea to get that around, to alert people to the fact that this is a serious situation. But ultimately, what organisations need to do is they need to make sure that they train people and they need to make sure that they get their culture right. So actually, this is nipped in the bud at the very earliest stage.
Now, I understand you've experienced what you call some over-familiarity. What do you mean by that?
Well, I have just that, really. People have been a little bit overtly familiar, and they're not my friends. You know, they're not a male friend. So some of what I've experienced, and we're talking about very, very mild stuff.
So would you say it's the sort of stuff that you probably wouldn't report?
I wouldn't report it. I wouldn't report it because I'm a bit of a tough old cookie and I can deal with it. And if somebody touched me and I didn't like it, or said something to me and I didn't like it, I would actually turn and look and I would say something. Okay. But then I've got skills and resilience that perhaps some other women don't have.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed, Karen. Karen Constantine, the Kent Labour County Councillor, talking to us there. We did ask Kent County Council for an interview. We were told no one was available, but they did issue the following statement.
The Council's Code of Conduct, both for members and officers, has been amended and updated 32 times in the past 12 years, and a complete review is currently being undertaken with the intention of presenting it to the full Council next March. Any misconduct by members is currently covered by the paragraph which says you must not conduct yourself in a manner which could reasonably be regarded as bringing your office or the authority into disrepute. Complaints about member misconduct are rare, and there is none outstanding at the moment. Any member can make a specific request for the code to be updated for a particular purpose, but no such requests have been made recently.
We'll have more on this story later in the programme.
On 96.7 and 104.2 FM, on medium wave, digital, online and on Freeview Channel 719. This is BBC Radio Kent Breakfast with John and Steve.